What up, y'all? Welcome to Now. I'm your host, Kashya, and I wanted to come and talk about why you must be your biggest fan. If y'all see this over here, don't, I'm trying to make sure there's not a glare when I talk. And there was a person over there doing something, so ordering food or something, so I just closed it up. So we're going to have this talk while I finish my lunch, and I'm about done with it. But what I'm having, which I think I'm going to have again, because it was actually really good. I think I will definitely do it with like mackerel or something next time. But what I am having is romaine wraps with rice and peas and sesame oil and sriracha. That's what's in it. But they about gone. There go my NASCAR people. But I want to talk about why you must be your biggest fan. Why you must be your biggest fan. Y'all, it's a glare. You can't see it, but it's just rice and peas with sriracha and sesame oil. I would definitely do it with fish or something on top. Any meat really on top of it. I'm trying to eat more fish. Get those omega-3s in there. See, talking and eating is difficult because you gotta force yourself to pause in between the bites. A true fatty. Y'all, my name is Kashya, so if you're new here, welcome. Glad to have you. I'm very welcome. Hopefully you stay around to see I'm very welcome. I'm very random. Hopefully you stay around just to see how much. And if you're looking for somebody that is linear on things, I'm not all the time. I'm kind of like, but with progress. So if you can handle that, stick around, learn you something from what I share. And yeah, add to. Maybe you want us to discuss something. I'm game for that. But you gotta leave it in the comments because I'm not yet at 50 subscribers. So if you have a friend that has a friend that has a friend and they watch my life already, they might as well just go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Because it's kind of weird of them to watch my life and not be subscribed to my channel, but then I get on YouTube and they're making shorts based off of shorts I made, but they're not following me. That's so cringe, especially when it's older woman doing it. Like, ma'am, I think you were in the views of my little video, but it's whatever. It's whatever. But our topic today. If I don't get some air in here. Wait. First 5 minutes is crazy. I'm gonna have to put in the notes that y'all just jumped to minute 6.5. So I'm definitely about to finish this before I have this conversation. Because if I don't, I'm gonna keep eating it. It's crazy. Thank y'all for having lunch with me, though. If you did watch through the first 5 minutes, 6 minutes now. Y'all, random fun fact. I was vegan for like a year. That just brought back memories. That's good. I think I'm gonna do that again. That was pretty simple. Rice is easy to whip up. I got double vegetables. I had peas and this lettuce. I probably got some extra vitamins too. I seen this guy that was reporting that um they put vaccines in the lettuce. I don't know what kind of lettuce, but I heard a man say that. I said, Father God, Father God. Grow your own food, people. Okay. I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready. Why you must be your own biggest fan. So, my name is Kashya. I said it already, but I'm saying it again to try to give y'all a proper shindig, And you're new here, and I don't think I've fully spoken on it yet, but I've had to endure being stalked by some strange people, and part of enduring that was realizing that I was going to have to become my own biggest fan. And the reason you have to obtain that mindset while being stalked, especially at the level that I've been stalked, is because there are so many people who jump in on the bandwagon of trying to tear you down. Excuse me. Who jump on the bandwagon of trying to tear you down just because everybody else is trying to, right? Nobody wants to think for themselves and have their own mindset or get to know a person for themselves before they make a final judgment about how they view a person, right? People are more so like, oh, well, if everybody is saying this, it has to be true, blah, 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 blah. Whatever, right? People just look at the fact that these people said this. They might see one or two things, but they don't take into account all of the other factors that go into it, right? They only look at, oh, get over it, like fight your way through it, blah, blah, blah. That's all they worry about, okay? And so when you're dealing with people, period, right? Even if you're not being stalked, even if you don't have, people don't have access to your life in the way that my life has been exposed and open outside of my consent, right? You have to be your own biggest fan, because people will tell you stuff based off of their limitations, but they'll also tell you stuff just trying to get in your head, trying to confuse you, or trying to intentionally swell your head up about something that has absolutely no merit concerning your situation, right? And so if you allow people to feel like just because they have access to aid you with information or to encourage you, right? Sometimes I have seen people who feel like because they are encouraging, or whatever the case may be. And mind you, I am being stalked, so I'm not adjusting the lighting on this video. It's automatically doing it, or the hackers are doing it, okay? Because nothing in here is changing as far as like lighting, so I'm just throwing it out. If y'all see that, notice that in the video. But if you allow people to feel like they are the end all be all when it comes to your mind, and your mind is a part of your spirit, right? God tells us to guard our mind and spirit. They are a team, right? Your mind and your spirit go hand in hand. And so if you allow people to feel like they are the ones who are able to tell you who you are, or to feel like they have the power to shift your emotions concerning yourself, to shift your perspective concerning yourself, and people realize that they can possibly do that, and they're not good or genuine people, they're going to yo-yo your emotions concerning yourself, and they're going to try to intentionally drive you to a crazy house, okay? They're going to tell you one day, oh, you look good, you did great doing this, and mind you, hopefully you are centered enough to be able to know the difference, right? Be able to know the difference between someone that's telling you this because they love you and they want you to do better, versus someone who was telling you this just because they're manipulative or conniving or whatever the case may be, right? They're deceitful people. They just want to play in your energy because they don't have your energy, or they just want to feel like they have some type of power that they don't have, right? However, if you allow a person to become the end all be all, where you get your confidence or self-esteem from, then you are giving them power over you, right? I sadly had the experience of knowing individuals who believed they had some type of power over me, right? This was all delusional, but they believed they had some type of power over me, and because of that, when they see or have experienced my reactions concerning them, they are possibly, I'm sure, taken aback, right? People who convince themselves somewhere up here that they have power over someone else that they never had are straight out psychotic. Yeah, I said it plainly. They are psychotic, because to tell yourself that you had something that you never had over someone, and believe it so much so to where you're mad when that person has not been manipulated to play out whatever role or character you tried to paint them as, you there's something mentally and psychologically going on there, right? No, you don't entertain those kind of people, because what they're dealing with, what they're fighting, is stronger than their common sense, and you have to let them fight it by themselves so they can figure it out and know how to defeat that thing if that thing comes back, right? So you just have to leave those people alone, continue to be your own biggest fan, and they'll resolve it eventually, right? If you are led to do so, you should pray some good prayers for them, right? If you're led to do that, you should. But I've learned people want to feel like they have some type of control or power over you, and the only way for you to really give them that is to um the only way for you to give a person that type of indication is for them to feel like you don't love yourself as much as they think you love yourself. You know what I mean? So you have to be your biggest fan. There's nothing wrong with people admiring you or appreciating you, and they're also a fan of yours. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I think when we um worship people in a unhealthy way, or we become a fan of someone in an unhealthy way, then we put them on pedestals where we feel like they can do no wrong. And sometimes that's exactly how you get into jammed up situations, right? When you convince yourself that someone has some type of je ne sais quoi, right? That you are just totally enamored with, and they could be doing the absolute worst thing, and you're still like, no, they're still good people. No, like some people do jacked up stuff, and they are jacked up individuals, and you have to be able to distinguish that, right? But you also have to not allow yourself to get so caught up in the fact that if someone might happen to be, the person that is singing you praises or whatever the case may be. Y'all, I'm sweating because it's hot. Let me cut this air on. Hold on. Un momento, por favor. And I'm also about to shift the angle of this video, so bear with me. Hey, how you doing? Put the charger in. Don't have on makeup, so I can do that. If I had on makeup, I could not do that. Y'all see my flower? I made unleavened bread yesterday, and it came out pretty good. Okay, so back to what I was saying, right? If you allow someone to feel like they're your biggest fan and they're the one gassing you all the time, and you're not able to gas yourself, so when, let's say that person stops gassing you, right? Then you are essentially giving them the power to be able to move you, right? Because if you get so used to someone gassing you and then they stop gassing you, then you're not going to know how to take that. You're not going to probably behave in a sensible manner either, right? You're going to feel like, well, dang, now I got to do something to get this person's attention again so they can continue to give me the gas that they were once giving me. No, you have to value yourself enough to where you are your biggest fan. So even, let's say you are friends with someone, or you're dating someone, or you're in a work relationship, as far as like just partnership, not necessarily dating at work. Please don't do that. It works for some people. It's never a good idea though. I learned the hard way. So I'm telling you so you don't have to learn the hard way, okay? Let's say you're in any of those relationships, right? And let's say you fall out with your coworker. Let's say your relationship ends. Let's say the person that used to encourage you all the time moves to another state, and now you don't have the same access, or they don't have the same time to be able to talk to you and encourage you or things like that. If you have not established a system with yourself where you are able to do those same things, when those people leave out of your life, it's going to devastate you, because you have built your foundation on the praises of man, which means people outside of yourself, right? So I know for me, I experienced people where they watch my life, and again, I don't have any privacy, so they watch my life, they make videos, right? But sometimes in those videos, even though I know that most of their videos are inspired by watching my life, I will encounter them every so often also shading my life. Now, mind you, my life is the inspiration to most of their videos. But in those same videos, they're shading me in the videos that I know is inspired by my life. And then they'll make a video, because some of these people are just that delusional. They'll make a video and they'll title it, they think everything you do is about them. And the funny part is, everything that they have been doing has been about them. And then because you watching their videos help them amass the followers that they have, they feel like because they have amassed the numbers that they can see, that because you may not have those physical numbers, that, you can't say anything when you're the reason that they have amassed the follower count that they have. So people are delusional. And if you're not your biggest fan, then you'll have people who 1 minute are praising you, but the same minute they're trying to tear you down. And I don't know if it's because they're mad that you are the inspiration for most of their content or not. I don't know where that came from, but I guess the Lord wanted me to say that and make it plain. Either way, maybe the Lord didn't, maybe it was my flesh. Whichever one It needed to be heard, I guess, because it came out. Okay, I don't even know where that came from, for real. But so it must have needed to be said. But what um what I'm basically telling you, right, is one moment a person can praise you, the next minute they can be tearing you down. So you have to be your biggest fan, because if you're the type of person who you rest on having the praises from man only as what makes you feel like you're that girl or that guy, then when they stop or when they switch up on you, it's going to impact you in a negative way. So I've learned that you have to be your biggest fan, right? Because people will flip flop. Sometimes they'll flip flop based on trends. Sometimes they'll flip flop just based on their own insecurities. Sometimes they'll flip flop because they're okay with trying to call you out, but they can't handle when you mirror what they're doing, right? And so they'll make content lying and claiming it's this and claiming it's that, and they're lying. But because they have mass an audience or a fan base who, worships or praises whatever they say, then they feel like that's it and that's all. You can't tell them nothing. But if they never amass the numbers due to your help, so you have to be your own biggest fan, right? Because people change. People make up their minds to do something different every day sometimes. Some people are not like that. Some people are just one way all their life and it works for them, right? And some people are not. They're fluid. They change, they grow, they learn something different, they apply it to their lives to get a different result or a better result than what they had previously had, right? So it's important that you are your biggest fan. So you maintain the power of how you see yourself, right? If you allow someone else to be your biggest fan and then you build your foundation on your fan base and not on your own self perception or your own self identity or your own perception of yourself, then if and when your fan base might decide to leave, then your confidence also leaves with your fan base, right? And you don't want that to happen. So, in order for you to avoid all of those things, you have to be your biggest fan. Hopefully that made sense and you got something from that. But make sure you are your biggest fan. I have fans there in sport clubs. I told y'all that. That's why you be hearing the little speed cars come around. Now the air is clogging my nose. But make sure you're your biggest fan, okay? And don't allow others admiring you or doing different things like that become your foundation, right? Because if people think that your confidence comes from them, they're going to also think that they have the ability to break it. And because people are just wired interesting, especially in these times, they will try. They will try. Some will fail, but they will try nonetheless, right? Some of them, they will try multiple times and still get nowhere. But they didn't learn the first time that they didn't get anywhere, so they're going to keep trying to feel like they're going to get somewhere. And sometimes it's a different result, but still it's a no. It just depends on what you're willing to serve them up with, right? If you pay them any mind at all. So, you have to be your biggest fan. Don't allow others to obtain any power, right? Any power. Because if you're dealing with psychos who just so happen to not know how to leave people alone or not know how to, stalk people, then they're going to convince themselves that they had a power that they never did, right? And so when you leave and you're able to leave peaceably and not return, it's going to break them, right? Because they built this lie that they stood on, and then when the lie doesn't stick, then they have to deal with all of those voices that got the best of them, right? So make sure your voice is the voice that's home for you, okay? And make sure that that voice is your biggest fan. It's not your biggest enemy. That's the message. That's the word. I love y'all later. Now, have a great day. And I'll catch y'all next time. Deuces.